Giant Size X-Men #1 may be one of the most important comic books in history. Seriously, on the Mount Rushmore of comics, it's alongside Action Comics #1 and Amazing Fantasy 15. However, unlike the other comics I mentioned, which were important because they were the first appearance of a pop culture icon, Giant Size was actually a reinvention of an already existing franchise. Despite being created by comic legends Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, who also created, all these guys, the X-Men never really found an audience like Spider-Man or Fantastic Four. In fact, the series was doing so bad that issues 67 through 93 were just reprints of older issues. Now, Marvel could have pulled a Netflix and canceled the series, but the higher-ups still saw potential in it and instead decided to reboot it. Since the current team never caught on with readers, they decided to switch them out with a brand new cast of characters. Lean Wynn, who wrote the issue, wanted to keep a sense of continuity from the old series, so he decided to keep previous cast members, Professor Xavier and Cyclops, and he even bumped up past supporting cast members, Banshee and Sunfire, to the main stage. Marvel wanted the new team to be more international, and brought in 4 new characters. Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Storm were created specifically for this issue, but Wolverine had been brought over after appearing as a Hulk villain for a single issue. Wing said the idea behind such a large cast was to make readers question which of these new characters would be sticking around and which would be leaving by the end of the issue. Just a hint, but Banshee and Sunfire are on the cover. Reading a comic book from the 70s is always an interesting experience, since the medium was still primarily aimed at young children. So plots are pretty simple and dialogue is very wooden/overly talkative. And while I appreciate having an interracial cast at a time when that wasn't considered the norm, there are still some 70isms in it. I do like how the issue is structured, with the first half being dedicated to introducing each member of the new team and giving the reader a quick sense of who they are. I particularly love the opening with Nightcrawler, who we first meet getting chased by an angry mob, for the sole reason that he looks like a monster. Longtime X-Men fans know that the title heroes are a group of people born with extraordinary abilities, but are feared and hated by normal humans because of those very abilities. These first few pages do a great job of introducing that concept to new readers by showing them instead of just telling them. Also, despite me not loving the dialogue in older comics, I do think this line hits pretty hard. Can you help me to be normal? After tonight's misfortune, Kirk? Would you truly want to be? I wish I had more to talk about, but like I said, comic plots in this era were pretty simple. Xavier recruits a new team to find and save the old one. They do, and fight a giant monster before going home. While artist Dave Cockrum does his best to elevate a weak plot with bold and dynamic art, I just don't find it enough to really engage me. There's nothing really memorable about this issue other than the new cast, which even that isn't used to its full advantage. With a large cast like this, with different backgrounds and personalities, you would think there'd be some interesting character interactions, but we don't even get that. It's mostly one character talking tough, while another one gets annoyed at him for doing so. Unfortunately, I just don't think anyone over the age of 10 can sincerely enjoy this comic. And yet, if you are an X-Men fan, or a comic book fan, or honestly just a fan of superheroes, I do think you owe it to yourself to read this comic. This single issue was the starter pistol that would change the entire course of the comic book industry, and I think that alone makes it worth reading.